So look at this, government contracts portal, contracts for 1.8 million, 7 million, 7.5 million, 161,000, 4 million, 7.3 million, 7.6 million, all released 18th of September, and this happens every few days, contracts dumped on the government portal, ready for us to sift. So one of the biggest stories that we've been covering at Byline Times in recent months is what we're calling the PPE procurement scandal. And this involves billions of pounds worth of government money being awarded to private sector companies for the supply of face masks and aprons and gloves to the front line of the NHS during the coronavirus crisis. And while a lot of these contracts have gone to firms with an experience of delivering PPE, quite a few of them haven't. So some have gone to a dormant company that hasn't traded for 4 years. Another has gone to a company that was only set up a month before it was awarded contracts. It seems I was one of the few journalists who decided to sift through all the information on there, cross-reference it with Companies House to see the background of these companies, what experience they really had. Did they have the experience to produce PPE during a pandemic, a once in 100-year event, and found lots of companies that had good experience in healthcare, but lots of companies that also didn't. You can very easily decipher how much each company has been paid. And when I went on there, I saw an absolute catalogue of contracts. The government has spent at least 5 billion on PPE procurement deals during the pandemic. Occasionally it shows contract details, so a basic tender agreement between the government and the companies. What it also emphasises is the fact that none of these contracts, or at least the vast majority, went to competitive tender. So these companies were given these deals without anybody else competing for the contract, which obviously leads to questions as to why they were selected. Why did the government choose these companies? And quite a few of these deals have gone to backers of the Conservative Party, so over £350 million worth of deals have gone to people who have donated to the Conservative Party, who are actually Conservative Party politicians. So there's a question as to cronyism within the government, and yet this Conservative government has shelled out over a matter of months billions of pounds in PPE procurement deals that it's then not willing to explain to the general population. So there's an issue of transparency here. So there was one company that has been awarded over £50 million worth of PPE deals, and it turns out that this company is actually dormant. So it was set up in May 2016, and it doesn't appear to have traded since it was set up. It still has roughly £100,000 value, which is the amount of share capital that was awarded to the company when it first set up. And even despite that, it's been awarded huge deals for the supply of PPE. Now, the firm obviously says that it supplied the equipment that the government wanted, and the government's happy with what it did, but there has to be questions about why the government decided to award this huge contract to a dormant firm rather than anyone else. Is that not a risk of taxpayers' money? It might have worked out in this circumstance, but in general, what if it hadn't? So this is important, obviously, because it's £5 billion worth of public money, of taxpayer cash, that has been spent by the government on private sector contracts. And now Conservative governments, Conservative administrations, people on the right of politics like to talk about public spending and making sure the taxpayer gets value for money. And yet people have been suspiciously quiet about this government spending, saying that anybody who questions it is a conspiracy theorist. Well, £5 billion worth of contracts that haven't been properly explained by the government is surely well within our rights to expose. And the question is, who's got this money? Why were they awarded the contracts? Were the contracts successful? And the fact is, we don't know a great deal from this government about any of those questions.